follows an extract from my book Letters from the Broom Cupboard, available from Amazon. Dear reader, we piano teachers can be a funny bunch. I suppose that's true of all people groups, but I'm especially conscious that it's an easy assumption to make when thinking about music tutors. Maybe it's because we spent a large portion of our childhood and teenage years rattling up and down scales for hours and slogging note by note through impossible Bach fugues. The exam syllabus has changed considerably over the years. I'm not going to make even the vaguest reference to the academic downgrade here at all. When I first met my husband, I was practising for my Grade 8 piano exam, which was an integral part of the Oxford A-level syllabus. The list of scales included over 200 permutations, which took a good 2 or 3 hours to work through if I intended to practice the whole set in one go. Just one of the 3 pieces was a sonata which was over 12 pages long, and because you weren't allowed any photocopies, I had to turn my own pages in the exam. This meant that I had to memorise chunks of music and turn when a hand was free. On top of that, I had to memorise specific extracts of music from a 700-page opera for the written A-level exam. We had an exciting courtship, as you can imagine. I know of a bygone piano tutor who adopted an open house policy for his pupils each Sunday and would give afternoon tea whilst hosting a scales party. He must have laid on some mighty fine cakes to entice anybody to attend, let alone induce them to join in. I'm not sure I could handle so much excitement. I can just picture the scene. A row of girls wearing their best Sunday pinafores with ribbons in their hair. There'd be just a token boy or 2 sitting sulkily up in the corner, fidgeting because their mother had tied their ties too tightly around their throats. I feel a similar urge myself at times. The earnest piano tutor would be overly hearty in his welcome and would break the ice by performing a few scales himself. I'll just get the party started and warm the piano up. I'll play a couple of scales to lead the way, says the teacher. A thunderous rendition of F-sharp harmonic minor in contrary motion over 2 octaves, followed by C minor in thirds with 2 hands over 4 octaves, sets the bar high. He turns to his little audience with an overbearing grin to see who is next to take the limelight. The row of girls now look like so many frightened rabbits under the glare of the looming headlights, and the boys have skulked further into the shadows of the corner of the room. There can be no escape, as their lift home isn't for another hour or so, and there's not a chance their parents will be early in picking them up. They've a couple of hours to themselves on a Sunday afternoon. The children's only hope is to resort to tea and cake and try and look busy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all dead keen to show off their proficiency. Perhaps Lavinia shoots her hand into the air. And now Lavinia will play for us D major 2 octaves with right hand only, introduces the teacher. Polite applause ensues. A stumbling rendition bolsters the confidence of the onlookers, and little Joey emerges from the corner, keen to prove his worth. Ah, Joey's splendid, encourages the teacher. Joey will play for us A major with 2 hands over 2 octaves. Take that, Lavinia. Both hands, do you hear? My goodness, this could go on all night. I hope the teacher provided plenty of cakes to keep their energy levels up. I can't imagine such Sunday afternoons standing much chance of success with today's students, and I for one am not man enough to broach the venture. It wouldn't work in our home anyway. I can't find the piano on a Sunday, as it's likely to be buried under a pile of ironing. Such a mentality isn't as rare as you might hope, and there is a bizarre tendency among piano teachers to cook up strange scenarios. Sometimes May and I will spend an evening in the pub reading through the letters page of a music tutor's periodical, sharing various piano teachers' droplets of wisdom, a gripping read as you can imagine. They say that truth is stranger than fiction, and I can assure you that my imagination couldn't make this lot up. It certainly makes for entertaining reading and is an excellent accompaniment to a pint. Building finger strength is one of the main issues for a beginner when starting to play the piano. The only real solution is regular practice of scales in addition to regularly working on pieces of music. Just like any physical exercise, finger muscles are developed gradually. I once read a bizarre account of a teacher who wrote in a musician's periodical to share her miraculous tip. She suggested that tutors follow her example in chopping up erasers into small slithers to wedge between the piano keys to create extra resistance and so build strength quicker. What was the editor thinking in giving her column inches? Didn't Schumann try such a similar shortcut by making a strap for his fourth finger? The damage done to his hand was so severe that it permanently wrecked his performance career, although, if I remember correctly, the vote is still out on whether it was this or the latter stages of syphilis which caused the damage. Either way, don't try this at home, folks. Gratefully yours. For the full collection of Letters from the Broom Cupboard, available from Amazon in paperback or as an ebook, follow the links in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.